Just a short time ago, the governor, Josh Green, told CNN that the death count had risen to 99 people and that in the coming days that number could potentially double. Also tonight, there are now questions about how well prepared the island was for a major disaster. State officials confirmed that none of the 80 outdoor warning alarms that are supposed to deliver a loud, piercing sound to residents in a tsunami were activated, and that the New York Times quotes firefighters who say that fire hydrants ran dry. According to one firefighter, there was just no water in the hydrants. Tonight, we're also hearing more stories of what it took to survive a fire that, according to the governor, traveled at an incredible speed of 1 mile every minute. 19-year-old Noah Tompkinson and his younger brother Milo and his mom raced to their car as the fire spread. They were caught in traffic and they did the one thing they thought would save their lives, escaped into the ocean. They were there for hours. It was recorded on video. Here are some of those moments, beginning with Noah speaking with his brother Milo.
Yeah. You're gonna be okay, Milo. Milo, your mask is dirty. It's better. Holy f. Can I just wash it? Yeah, just wash it.
Keeping your phone dry. Thank
Yeah.
you. My phone's toast.
Yeah. We're through the worst of it. We're gonna be okay.
I'm joined now by 19-year-old Noah Tompkinson and his dad, David. Noah, when the fires hit your neighborhood, you were with your mom, you were with your younger brother, Milo. How quickly did you realize you needed to get out of there?
It was about 5 to 10 minutes from when we smelled and saw the smoke over the hillside, over up on that big mountain.
Wow, that fast.
It was about that fast, yeah.
And you got into a vehicle, I know, but there was a lot of traffic. How close was the fire when you were actually in your car?
When we were in our neighborhood, it was starting to shoot embers down on the grass and light the very dry grass on fire. And at one point we had, when we were leaving our neighborhood, fires on both sides of our car.
So the decision to go into the ocean, when did you make that decision?
It was when we were coming down the front street, which burned down, and the fire was at that point starting to light the buildings across the street on fire. And we knew that we had to, and our car wasn't moving anywhere. The traffic was so bad, no one was moving. So we knew we had to jump in.
You took video while you were in the water, and we're watching some of it. I just want to play one part of the video where you're talking about the fire on all sides.
Oh, shit. Both sides, to the left and the right, are on fire. White smoke starting to come, which means the fire's starting to die out. Scary.
What was that like? I mean, to see what's happening on shore, the smoke is clearly, I mean, it seems like it's stinging your eyes. It looks like it was difficult to breathe. Can you talk about that experience being in the water?
It was just so suffocating. The water, or the air was so thick, so heavy with smoke. And like I said in the video, if you look to the left, it was on fire. If you look to the right, it was on fire. I think at that moment I was just realizing that we were going to be in the water for a while.
How long were you guys in the water for?
About 5 hours.
And you were able to stand in the water, is that right?
Correct. It was about, for me, I'm about 5'10". It was about chest deep. But for my mother and my brother, they're both about 5'4". It was much harder for them to stand.
You seem, I mean, you're 19. Your brother Milo, I understand, is 13. You seem to kind of know what you were doing. I mean, you suggest to Milo that he doesn't look at the fire. I assume that was because of smoke, of sort of the air coming and hurting his eyes.
Correct. It was for multiple reasons. I told them both not to look. It was because the wind was starting to blow and the smoke towards our direction, that dark smoke from the cars that were starting to light up, and also the wind and just in general, I didn't want him to see what was happening behind him.
David, you live higher up in a different part of Maui, and I know you couldn't get in touch with your kids until the next morning. I mean, I can't imagine what that was like for you.
Yeah, it was about 12, 13 hours where I knew that the fire had gone through their neighborhood by some videos that I saw online. And at that point, I had no idea. I was not able to communicate with them at all. I just knew that I had a pretty good idea that their house had burned down. And I was just terrified for them. I did think that, worst case, they're fit enough that they could, run at least and get into the ocean. But I had no idea where they were, and it was terrifying to just think all these scenarios as I knew I had to try to get some sleep that night, and it just felt guilty, me laying in bed knowing that they're who knows where.
How were you finally able to get in touch with them?
So they spent about 12 hours start to finish from when they had to escape from when they finally got rescued, and then later they finally made it to a place where they were able to get a cell phone, go up on top of a building, and they were able to be high enough to get a signal. And Noah calmly called me as I was talking to my neighbor, saying, "I don't know what's going on. I don't know where my kids are. I haven't heard from them." And while I was telling this story to my neighbor, Noah called me, and first thing calmly he says to me is, "Dad, we're okay," and we're okay, and that was just a huge relief. At that point, I just knew everything was going to be okay, and so yeah, at that point I just knew everything was going to be fine, and that whatever happens, they're safe, and it's all good. Life's good at that point, because they're safe.
No, I understand. Even though once you got back on shore, and I think you found shelter in a vehicle, you still were in danger. I mean, I understand that smoke was just hanging over everything.
The smoke was just so heavy, and even while we were in the car, we still had our masks on, and we got a minute to sit in it.
You're gonna be okay, Milo.
Being in the car, of course, was better than being out in the smoke, but it was just still so heavy. It started to feel very suffocating.
No, what do you want to know? What do you want people to know about what people in Lahaina need right now? What the future looks like?
It's a marathon, not a race. So we need those donations spanned out along that time, and that would get to the most people and help the most people.
Housing too,
Housing.
now. Like this temporary,
Absolutely.
people are in shelters and there's nowhere to go. There's many families that have taken on other people. We have somebody in our home who her house burned down in Lahaina as well, and our business burnt down. The owner of the business, his house burned down. His neighbors, it's so many people are without homes right now.
I mean, you must be so proud of Noah and Milo. I mean, your son Noah has quite a head on his shoulders. I mean, to be as calm and as thoughtful in those moments is extraordinary.
Yep, I'm very, very proud of him. Just from the moment he told me, "Dad, I'm okay," it was like right away I felt so proud that he was able to. I knew. Those words, the way he said them, said so much to me about how the whole situation was handled, and that he really was there for support system for his brother and his mother, and they needed each other to survive, and I'm so thankful for them to all. That they were together, and that Noah was so calm in this whole thing, very, very calm. I'm very, very proud.
Yeah.
Both my.
Well, Noah, if I ever get in trouble, I'm calling you because you seem to have a good head on your shoulders and know what you're doing.
That means a lot.
Well, Noah, David, I appreciate both of you. Thank you so much, and I wish you continued strength in the days ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, Anderson. Thanks.
You can find a lot of information about how to help at cnn.com/impact, or you can text Hawaii to 70-70-70 to donate.